plus and growing. A convoy that started from California last week continues its trek across the nation. The group is demanding government accountability and wants to end the pandemic. KOAM Shannon Becker caught up with the convoy as it passed through Joplin this morning.
Yeah, thanks. We're at the Joplin Regional Stockyards, County Road 100 in Jasper County, and a big crowd of people are welcoming the People's Convoy as they enter Missouri from Oklahoma. Over the weekend here at the Joplin Regional Stockyards, Ozark Crane set up a American flag to welcome the People's Convoy. It was a big crowd, about 150 they were estimating, here on the County Road 100 bridge. Carthage Fire Department helped with the traffic control on the bridge. And from here, the convoy travels on to Springfield, and then they'll stop and spend the night in St. Robert, Cuba, Missouri area. It took about a half an hour for it to completely roll through the entire area. And shortly afterwards, at exit 47, there was actually a traffic crash in the middle of the convoy. No one was injured, but 2 tractor trailers were damaged, and the convoy stopped for a period of time, still in traffic currently. Moms and dads, kids, supporting truckers, the People's Convoy. I'm Shannon Becker on I-44, the People's Convoy in Jasper County for KOAM News.
Well, yesterday people gathered on Southeast 33 Road in Big Cabin, Oklahoma to show their support for the People's Convoy as it drove along the Will Rogers Turnpike on I-44. The convoy had left Elk City, Oklahoma early Sunday morning and traveled 275 miles to reach its destination by evening. Sunday's leg of the convoy stretched about 8 miles long and was traveling around 45 miles an hour. On Sunday, members of an independent ministry in Joplin held a rally and support drive for the People's Convoy making its way across the U.S. The rally was held at 4 state trucks in Joplin near exit 4 on I-44. Minister Aaron Williams says the group plans to travel with the convoy and support its cause.
We don't know a great deal about the convoy. Our position is that we're Christians that are concerned with our freedom and wanting to remind those that we've elected that the Constitution is a document that's extremely important for the future of our children and grandchildren. So we're an independent ministry and would like to travel with them to be a support prayerfully and otherwise.
And you can follow the People's Convoy online. We've provided a link to their route and more information on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. We finally got a forecast you can smile about. Michael Hayslip joins us with a first look at our March warm-up.
Whether it be a driver that was part of the convoy, whether it be one of the spectators or onlookers, tell you what, a far cry from what we were experiencing not but just 4 or 5 days ago. Isn't it something else, Tanya? Beautiful blue sky outside of Television City. Kind of seeing Old Glory kind of jockey back and forth here, whether it comes in from the south and now almost from the west. Our 36-hour weather trend, just wanted to point one thing out that was kind of interesting this morning. About pre-sunrise, we were hanging out in the 40s right there, and then had that big plummet that went straight down just for a little bit. But a nice little rebound as Joplin right now back up to 57. Along with Oswego, we've got 58 already in Chanute. Miami and Grove, earlier they were at 23. Now almost pressing up against 60 degrees. And good friend Mike down in Goodman, down in McDonald County, letting me know that they're pressing up against 60 already. It is going to be a great end of February. Really only difference we've had from this morning is some light cloud cover that worked in for the northwest. Air mass remains dry though, so no worry about any rain falling out of there. And as far as our day planner goes on this February the 28th, we're going to have southwest gusts of 20 to 25 miles per hour and then sunset upon us at 6:08 this evening. But even at sunset, we're still talking about 50s. Let's push into Tuesday morning where we're still just a little bit above the freezing mark. Don't think we'll fall down below it. And then look at this afternoon. What a glorious first day of March that Mother Nature's going to bring us as we're going to have temps up into the high 60s, if not low 70s. And Tanya, the key factor is overnight being able to avoid that freezing mark all the way into the weekend. Last day of February, let's do a little housekeeping when we come back. Talk about the month of February at large and what we got to anticipate for the month of March.
I'm looking forward to March, that's for sure. Thank you, Michael. While war rages on the ground in Ukraine, the first peace talks are underway, even though there is little hope that anything will come out of them. And the Biden administration announced even more sanctions against Russia this morning. Skylar Henry has more details from the White House.
Ukrainian and Russian delegations met on Ukraine's border with Belarus Monday, the first direct talk since Russia's invasion began. The war on the ground continues. Ukraine's military says Russian forces have slowed their offensive after suffering heavy losses. Russia continues its assault on Ukraine's largest cities of Kyiv and Kharkiv. And Russian President Vladimir Putin raised alarms when he put Russia's nuclear weapons on high alert.
I hope this is nothing more than saber rattling, but we should be very concerned and very vigilant about deterring Putin from further acting against the West.
The U.S. and its allies have responded to Russia's attack with sanctions, attempting to isolate and weaken Russia's economy. This weekend, the U.S. and allies kicked most Russian banks out of SWIFT, an international bank messaging system that makes global transactions easier. That prompted some panic as Russians lined up to withdraw cash. The value of Russian rubles are plummeting, and Russia's central bank responded by doubling key interest rates to 20%. This morning, the Treasury Department announced new sanctions targeting Russia's central bank. The move blocks it from doing transactions in U.S. dollars. Skylar Henry, CBS News, the White House.
The ruble's value has fallen 30% against the dollar in trading today, making 1 ruble worth less than 1 U.S. cent. Russia has been selling off foreign currency in an attempt to keep the ruble's value higher, but today's sanctions will make it harder, if not impossible, for Russia's central bank to take those steps going forward. That's a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Up next on KOAM News at Noon, tips to keep you safe if you're considering investing into cryptocurrency. And later, we're making a toasted ravioli dinner in the Mr. Food Test kitchen. The growing popularity of cryptocurrency has also led to a rising number of scams. One woman says she lost millions to someone she thought was a friend. Cheryl Viandoka reports.
He said his name was Jimmy, handsome, young, and in the U.S. alone. Last October, Cindy Sai says he accidentally messaged her on WhatsApp.
Are you Linda from the pet store? And I messaged back and said, wrong number.
That seemingly innocent exchange quickly escalated into Cindy sharing personal information, including her cancer diagnosis.
Very much a comfort for me at that time. In my mind, it was a relationship.
Within weeks, Jimmy showed Cindy how much money he was making trading in cryptocurrency and offered to help her invest on the platform he was using.
So he said, you're not giving me a dime. This is completely controlled by you.
Jimmy gave her a link, and Cindy set up the account.
And they'll click on those hyperlinks. It will take them to a site that is either spoofed or very close to the legitimate site.
What was the total amount you invested?
Everything said and done, $2.5 million.
The FBI estimates in 2021, 24,000 people fell victim to these type of scams, losing about $1 billion.
With cryptocurrency, it's different. If you give somebody your digital wallet, that is gone instantly. There is no clearing process, so it's very difficult for law enforcement to track that.
Cindy says she became suspicious after having a hard time withdrawing money. But by then, it was too late.
It's interesting the disconnect between your logical self and your emotional self. And I think I was probably the most vulnerable in my entire life. I desperately wanted to believe him.
Cindy says that clouded her judgment. She's now sharing her story to help prevent others from becoming a victim of this scam. Cheryl Fiandaka, CBS News, Boston.
Authorities say don't invest with people you only meet online. Do your research. Do not click on hyperlinks for trading platforms and never share banking information. Still to come on the KOAM News at Noon, Mr. Food.
Ravioli covered in red sauce. Just wait until you see how we fancied it up for our new weeknight favorite.
But first, Michael Hayslip returns with your complete forecast.
As we get ready to wrap up February, I was thinking about when Tanya and I were doing the morning show, doing birthdays, anniversaries that we absolutely love to do. A happy birthday to those of you that may have leap year birthdays. We do not want to leave you out. We're going to celebrate yours today. And since we know that February the 28th is going to be a dry one, let's go ahead and wrap up our precipitation of what we've seen so far for February and also 2022. When we take the month into account, that's about, say about half an inch above normal right there. So we did pick up our fair share of rain. We're still down for the year, however, just about 7/10 of an inch, so really not too far off. But if you go all the way back to December 1, we're about 2.3 inches below our historical norm. So in some form or fashion, we are still kind of playing catch up from a little bit later in the late fall, early winter months. Here's the drought monitor right now. We have been able to shift a whole lot of the moderate level that is really just a sliver. And we see the severe down in northeast Oklahoma. But it's nice to see that the majority of it has slipped back to the dry category. Of course, ideally, we'd all be like this and wouldn't have to worry about any type of drought. But for the most part, that has gotten incrementally better from where we were at the beginning of the month. And then, of course, you push east of the Mississippi, everything's just looking great. And we know about the tinderbox that they've had to tolerate out to the west. We're going to be on the dry side here really for the rest of our work week, and it's going to be a little bit abnormally warm. February average high, just about 49 degrees. As a matter of fact, if that thing makes it up to 59, that'll bump that up to 48.5, and I'll go ahead and round up. The amazing thing is, though, with that average high of 50, that's not too bad for February by any means, but we all know it's been one extreme to the other right there. Very rarely were we able just stringing together some nice 50-degree days, but we're going to do that to open up March, that's for sure. In fact, 50s, we're going to cruise past that. We'll throw up some 60s and 70s here in the next 4 or 5 days. Over the 7th and range line right now, sitting at 57 degrees. Whoo, look at that humidity dropping all the way down to 28%. Don't have any red flag warnings out, but still, know with the wind coming in from the south, that elevated fire risk going to be a concern. 61 is our clubhouse leader right now in Independence, 57 in Carthage and in Parsons. Let's roll 59 in Miami. Double-digit temp change for just about everybody, especially for southwest Missouri from where we were at this point in time on Sunday, and then anywhere from about, say 8 to 10 degrees warmer in southeast Kansas. Skywatch Storm Tracker brought us a little additional cloud cover in from the northwest, but when we put on the old relative humidity map, in this area right here, we talked about, it's only 28% right now in Joplin, but this is our extreme conditions that we're seeing throughout central Kansas and down into central Oklahoma as well. So the fact that everything comes in from the northwest, whether it be cloud cover or anything else, stays on the very, very dry side. And that's because the contiguous 48, frankly, just so quiet right now. We've got a big low pressure system that moved in off the Pacific Northwest, made landfall. Though it's pretty much going to ride the jet stream right along the Canadian border. Not going to have much southeasterly drop to it. Afternoon planner, let's go. I think we'll see some mid-60s. Not widespread, but it won't be too bad. A little increased cloud cover. Great day to get out and maybe take a run or maybe take dogs for a walk. Coming off of last week, everybody's probably needing a little fresh air. And then overnight, even with the increasing clouds, gradually clearing up for Tuesday morning. As Future Track will show you, by the time we get on the road for tomorrow, above the freezing mark, and then let the March warm up begin. How about we roll high 60s and low 70s all the way into the weekend? Next shot for some light scattered rain Friday night into Saturday morning. And Tanya, we've got a cold front coming Saturday into Sunday.
Well,
if the cold front only reads 51 as it passes through,
yeah.
Just think back 4 to 5 days ago, and all of a sudden, that's not too bad.
Yeah, no single-digit temperatures there. We can handle 51.
Amen.
All right, thanks, Michael. We take this time to honor today's four-state hero, First Sergeant Earl Huffman in the U.S. Army. The Cherryville, Kansas native joined the 187th Airborne Infantry, 11th Division, in 1945. To Sergeant Earl Huffman, we thank you, our four-state hero. Your daily routine is getting a bit too routine, and then you're gonna love this idea. We're making a toasted ravioli dinner in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
If your daily dinner routine is getting a bit too routine, then I have a pretty good feeling you're gonna love what we're whipping up today. It's a quick throw together that starts with plum cheese ravioli and ends up with rave reviews. We start by cooking a package of frozen cheese ravioli according to the package directions. While this drains, we combine some Italian breadcrumbs with a few of our spice rack favorites. In another bowl, we beat an egg with a little milk. Now we dip our cooked ravioli into the egg and then into the breadcrumb mixture. Once they're coated, we fry them in a bit of vegetable oil until both sides are golden. And rather than serving these with a red sauce like normal, we'll toss them with some fresh spinach, along with some cherry tomatoes, and a homemade sweet and sour walnut dressing. Does this ever look good or what? With each bite, you get the crunch and the cheesiness from the ravioli, the freshness from the salad, and the tang of the dressing. If you want to get out of your boring dinner routine, just look for Toasted Ravioli Dinner on our website. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a change of pace kind of way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
You can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Here's a look at our 4 state market prices.
Already getting close to 60 degrees, and by this afternoon, we'll actually see a couple communities that probably make it to 63, 64, and then we just keep warming up. Look at those middle of the week / beginning of March temps. Those some 70s in there, and even the cold front that Tanya and I were kind of laughing about from Saturday into Sunday. Sunday's still looking at 50 degrees, a far cry from that most recent cold front that put a chill in everybody's bones.
Well, after we hit 70, 50 is going to feel cold to us.
Oh yeah, you have a point.
What do we have coming up tonight at 5?
Well, at 5, rare diseases can be difficult to diagnose. In Health Watch, we're going to check out new technology that uses photos to unlock medical mysteries. Plus, the People's Convoy left Veneta this morning, passing through our area on its way to Washington, D.C. We're going to tell you what the convoy is and what those in it are hoping to achieve on their long journey. And we'll hear from people who are lining the highways in support of the People's Convoy. Hope you join us for those stories. A lot more, of course. It's coming up on KOAM News at 5.
All right, thank you, Dow. Thanks for joining us for KOAM News at noon. We'll see you right back here at 5 o'clock.